Yo, what's going on YouTube? This your boy Kamen Brother Zero Spike back again once again. And today we're here for the debut of Kamen Rider Geats episode 1. And man, this was great, just like how every other debut Kamen Rider episode 1 is always pretty freaking good. But yeah, throughout this series, we ain't even got there yet. We episode 1, dog. Come on, man, get right. But this was a very pretty. If I got a lot of Ryuki vibes from this, Ryuki and Fies actually, especially with all the different robotic kind of things that we had the different robotic, cybernetic, machine kind of stuff we had going on with this episode, and we see that all our riders are basically in a game, and if you win the game, you get to basically create the world that you want to create. And we saw that it was 33 other people in this game, and technically it's kind of like, it's not even the beginning of the game, it's like the ending of the game. And it's been a cool 6 months since the game actually started, so we're like at the tail end of it, and there's only maybe like a few riders left. But we see Ace, who is I guess it was like a flashback of Ace, where he was standing at this icy beach area. And this woman ends up giving him the Geats, the Desire Driver, and yeah, he has become that, and he has a coin that he flips all the time, and it's like the coin of Caesar, if you know who Caesar is. Yeah, so we get a introduction to one of our characters. His name is Keiwa, and Keiwa is basically at a group job interview, and he kind of botches it with some of his ideals and things. Like, they kind of botched it, and he ends up going to lunch with his sister. We also got the debut of another girl, Nina-chan, who is she's famous. She's like an influencer, but she's famous for just coming from money. Essentially, she's only that's the only reason why she's famous, just from coming from money. And you see that she's live streaming, actually running away from home because she wants to basically live kind of like a normal person. So, if you're running away, and if you're running away, why are you live streaming it? Like, now people know where you are to find you. I didn't why. So we see that Keiwa and his sister are at this restaurant. They get ready to eat together, and out of nowhere we see this thing flash by, and it creates like a little barrier. And when it creates this barrier, they can't get him and Keiwa kind of like separated from each other. And then these things, called the Jamato, they actually come in, and they make the most annoying sound. Like, their voices, it's so, they just go oh all the time. They just go it's so annoying. I was like, please. And they just come in and just start murking everybody. They just like come in there, start murking everybody, start killing all the people inside of the restaurant. They end up killing the owner first, and we end up seeing that they ended up getting saved. Keiwa and Nina-chan end up getting saved by the not the panda. They end up getting saved by the polar bear rider. They end up getting saved by him. He has a whole crossbow and everything like that. And then also we see that another rider ends up coming in, who is the bull, who is Buffer. Yeah, Buffer. So we see that Buffer looks pretty freaking cool, man. Like, you think this guy was an evil rider. I mean, come on, dude. Majority of the time, every time someone's like an evil rider or an evil sentai, or like an evil rider or evil ranger, they're always black and purple, or like they're either purple and like a kind of like a burgundy chrome color. Like, they're always purple, so you would think this guy was an evil rider, but no, he's just another player in the game as well. So we see that Buffa and the polar bear, they're fighting all of these things, and as they kill them, they pull out this little device, and it shows like their scores. Basically, all of this is a game, so they're basically the more people they defeat and stuff like that, the higher the score is. So we see that the polar bear, he ends up saving the other two. When he saves them, He ends up bringing them to this rooftop, and they're asking him like, "Oh, hey, what's going on? What's happening? Stuff like that." And then we actually see their faces. We actually get to see the debut of the Riders D Henshin, Buffa, and the Polar Bear. But then we see that he's talking, that Polar Bear is talking about how much like he wants like kind of be a hero, things like that. And Buffa's just like Buffa's all about the game. He doesn't care what's going on. He's all about the game. And he's all about trying to win. He's all about he's all about the game, all about trying to win, right? So we see that the main boss thing, which they call the fortress, this big, I don't know, it was like a big tentacle purple mushroom monster with a castle on his back. I don't know. I play a lot of RPGs, so I'm kind of used to seeing stuff like this, but this thing was weird. So this thing ended up it ended up attacking them, and it ends up killing Polar Bear. He ends up dying right there. We didn't even see this guy. We didn't even know his name. He just died right there. And it says mission failed. When he gets knocked into the side, into the building, the rooftop wall. So we see that they end up having to run away from this thing, and we see that he ends up breaking the ceiling, and Nina-chan as he falls through, but KY tries to save her. So we get a little clip of Ace, who is sitting there. He's like, hey, he looks like he's in like this big building, like a rich boy kind of like building, whatever. His butler basically says like, hey, it's time for you to go. He's like, yeah, I know, but I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be the best. Like, so he's I still got my Ace, and he pulls out the boost attachment for the Desire driver. So he ends up, we actually see a bike. We haven't seen actual motorcycles in Rider, I think, since we haven't seen actual motorcycles in Rider ever since the Rewa era. Really haven't seen bikes except for 01, which is weird. But yeah, he's driving it. It looks pretty freaking cool. Like I'm a guy. I want a motorcycle really bad. But he ends up using his bike to trail across the building and ends up saving Nina-chan. He ends up saving her. The KY ends up coming down and see if she's okay, and then we see that Ace tries to hit on Nina, stuff like that. So that's when we see Geats ends up battling. He ends up hitching up for the first time. We actually see his full henshin, and it actually looks pretty freaking dope, man. I'm like, man, this is very. Build would love this place. Like Sento would love this place. So he ends up using that, transforming, and we see, man, this guy is just. I see why he's called Ace, because he's really good with them freaking guns, yo. Really, really good with those guns. He's up taking out all these freaking Jamato, thank God. But these things are so freaking annoying. I hate these things. I don't like the way they look. I don't like the way they look, and I don't like the sound that they make. So every time I see these things, I'm like, please kill them. Get them off my screen. But he ends up defeating these things, and we actually see him use two different forms, essentially like switching different attachments around. He ends up using the boost part as shoulder pads at first to shoot, and ends up transforming his gun into a rifle, and he's shooting the tentacles off of the fortress monster. And while that's happening, we end up seeing that he ends up switching the red boost part on his legs, and he ends up completely spinning, like on some Kamen Geo stuff. He ends up spinning the driver, and he actually switches his leg part he ends up switching the leg part for the arm part. So now he's white on top and red at the bottom, and he ends up going off and using his rider kick to basically, he jumps up, he gets eaten by the monster, and he ends up coming out of the monster, and then he ends up using his rider kick to defeat this monster. And basically, and he ends up winning the entire game. And after he wins the game, we see that Buff was actually pissed off, and the woman who was illustrating all of this, she's like, I guess the announcer girl, she's very pretty, by the way, is like, yeah, we have a new desire god. And after that, we see a masked figure who's watching all this, and he says Geets' name. And Yeah, clearly this guy is gonna be like, clearly this guy is maybe the puppeteer of all of this. Maybe he's the guy that's orchestrating all of this. So maybe, stuff like that. I don't know who like this guy, man. So that's when Kwa is asking Ace like what's going on, what's happening. He's like, oh, and he's like, oh man, this game, you can change the world if you keep trying. And then Kwa's like, he's kind of a down on his look kind of guy, so he's kind of a downer. He says like, you know nothing is ever going to change, and the world's the way it is, the world's going to stay this way, stuff like that. And we see that Ace is like, nah man, it's time to reset. And he says, we said, let's end this world and reset it. So after he says that, everything resets, all the buildings and everything get put back together, all the people that died get brought back to life. And we see that KY ends up waking up in his room. He ends up waking up in his room and feeling like everything was a dream. So he ends up going back to the same restaurant, but he's by himself this time. He ends up going back to the same restaurant, and the woman ends up, the woman who gave, the announcer girl, she ends up coming back and giving him a desire driver, and I think he ends up becoming the new polar bear. As soon as he touches the I haven't gotten these things. I haven't gotten these things down yet. He ends up touching the attachment that goes on the desired driver, which has the polar bear head on it. He touches it, and he remembers everything. He gets all of his memories back from the last time, and we see that Nina-chan is also being given I'll say revised driver, is also being given a desired driver, and a bunch of other people from around the city are being given desired drivers, being also being initiated into the Desired Grand Prix, which is the name of the game that they're actually in. So also X8 probably will really like this world too. But anyway, we see that now he ends up becoming that, right? I guess he's that writer now, and also Nina-chan is also going to be that cat writer that we'll be seeing floating around. And the episode kind of ends off right there with Geats standing on top of Ace, basically standing on top of a building, saying, "Hey, welcome to my world." And I'm like, yo, like, so did he like, after he won that, did he like, change the world? Like, what happened? Like, I was like, did he change the world? Did his desire come true? Like, if so, that's the end of the series. So, but this episode was it was actually a really good introduction to Geats, especially when it comes out to his fighting style, especially. But I also with establishing two new characters who we know who are going to become writers themselves. But when it came down to Buffer, I kind of felt like I'm going off by what the episode has shown me, not scans or press conferences have basically said, but I'm basically going off what the episode itself has shown me. And by that, I kind of think this guy's kind of a dick. Maybe he might not be a dick. Maybe he's probably just that guy that's just like, yeah, I'm about to win. I'm all about winning right now. So but yeah, man, I'm hope like this episode gave me a lot of Ryuki and Fai's vibes, especially with Ryuki, how showing how in Ryuki it basically is said that anybody can become a Kamen Rider, and we see that because look how many writers freaking Ryuki has. So, and the whole Fai stuff, I feel like the whole Fai thing is just all the technology and all the way everything is the way everything moves and how everything kind of sounds, stuff like that. Like, if that's a lot of Fai's, so it looks good though. It looks like it's a bunch of like old concepts, but with a brand new, with a brand new shading of paint. It looks pretty, and overall, like aesthetically, everything looks great. Like, it looks really, really cool. We also they didn't talk about what the Jamato. Well, only reason we know what the Jamato are because scans and stuff like that, what they're called, but we don't know. Like, they didn't say what their names were or anything like that. They just fought them, so we really don't know like what they are or what they're here for. I guess they're just part of the game. I guess they're just the grunts of the game. So I guess that matter. I guess that's it really. But other than that, like, I kind of just want a little bit more. at least explain what the Jamato were. Like that's all I kind of really wanted, really. But other than that, like this episode was good. It was a pretty good episode, man. I'm ready looking. I'm set. I'm in. Like I'm here. Like I'm not calling quits on this, man. It looks really freaking cool, and I'm ready to see what they got go. I'm ready to see what they bring out here next, and I'm ready to see how all these characters are. I'm ready to see these other personalities of these characters. But other than that, thank you all guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'm gonna see you guys next time. And remember, stay kitchened.